Hey guys, we just raced at Circuit of the Americas in the GT World Challenge America Series. Jump on board with me, POV style. We're gonna walk you through our test sessions, how we prepare for the race weekend. Let's just jump on board and we'll have a look. It started with a bang. You'll see what I mean. So just getting my gloves on, getting ready for the first session at Circuit of the Americas. We brought a new setup to this track, so very anxious to try it. Tried a few different things from the last race at New Orleans. Felt like the car was definitely moving in the right direction in terms of the balance and just how we work the tires. So we have a complete different philosophy on the car now, and I also just made a new seat. So that's Scott from BSCI Seats. He's just inserting my inlay into the base seat that Ziad, my teammate, made. That'll be another video, actually, how we made the seat. A very interesting process. Yeah. Actually, one that I couldn't believe the final product of the video and how it's put together and the storytelling involved in that. It's really, really cool. So if you want to check that out, you can subscribe to the channel, of course. That'll be coming very, very soon. It may already be out by the time you watch this. So here we are, just clicking in the seat belt. So I'm just feeling the seat out for the very first time with my suit on, helmet, everything in the pit lane. It all feels pretty good, like the belts line up well. I'm adjusting the steering wheel. Slightly different position from what I'm used to with the steering wheel. I normally have it all the way towards me, but with the new seat and the way it's made, we're a bit further forward. So the pedal box, actually you can see that lever where my hand is, just in front of that. There's a lever that can adjust the pedal box.
Tie this up.
What's wrong?
So I'm having a little bit of difficulty with the seat belt on this side. I think it was too loose and I just could not tighten it because it's between that bungee cord, which helps us for driver changes. So my driver changer and one of our mechanics, Takori, he's helping me out here. He's awesome. Young kid, 20 years old, really, really hard-working guy.
Okay.
So just gonna click in that final belt, my right shoulder, feeling good. The ignition's on. The lights on the dash aren't actually flashing like that. It's just because the shutter speed of my GoPro, it's picking it up funny. Normally it's just blinking, on, off, that kind of cadence. It looks like it's flashing really, really quickly. Even the brake lights, they don't do that. The brake lights are on, but it's just weird with the way it picks up the LEDs. So nothing's actually flashing. It's just, well, the lights in the dash are, okay? Not the tail lights. That's the moral of the story. So I'm just getting comfortable. I'm getting some communication on the radio.
Seat feels good.
And that's me telling you the seat feels good. So they're just fitting the tires now. We're in tire blankets. Carlo, you can see on the right front corner, he's just putting the tires on. They're coming out of the blankets, so I'm looking at my mirror, just making sure what the sequence is, if he's putting them on or not. Checking my rear view camera. We got engine on. And ready to roll. Whoops. Forgot to put the pit speed limiter on, but I didn't speed. I caught it. The low tire pressure warning was on the dash, so I didn't know if it was the pit speed limiter or low tire warning. But it has to, basically the tires have sensors on them, so once they're bolted to the car, it takes a few seconds to register, and then that low tire pressure alarm will go away. Once it registers, okay, there are tires on the car. We have tire pressure monitoring systems in each of the tires, so it tells us temperature of the core and also the tire pressure. So I'm just doing a radio check now around the track, already passing a car. Boom. So Circuit of the Americas is one of my favorite tracks, actually. I love the S's, and you can see that they've actually shaved down those yellow curbs on the apex curbings through the S's, which makes it even faster. And fast equals fun. So going through these different sections, just doing radio checks, making sure that at different parts of the track my team can hear me, straddling that curve. And at this point, I'm starting to feel a little bit of a weird vibration. I'm I'm like, not really sure. You can see I'm not really fully revving it all the way. Normally we rev it really over the red blinking lights. 3-4 times I would let it blink, but I'm not really revving it out all the way. I'm kind of shifting earlier, feeling something a bit odd. And here we go. Boom. So I'm thinking it's the drive shaft at that point, but I'm like, my foot's on the clutch. You can see I'm pushing the clutch down on the left, down in the footwell. Went down a gear. Tried it. Now I'm like, yeah, no, something's definitely not right.
No, it's something with the gearbox. The clutch is broken. Yeah, I'm going to turn the engine off.
So, coming into this weekend, we were over the mileage on the gearbox. But a new car is coming. So we were taking the risk before having to rebuild the gearbox. And when Mercedes tells you it's over mileage, it's done. You got to get it fixed. They know their stuff.
Yeah, the clutch felt very funny. Like it was like there was metal inside when I pushed the foot down, and there was absolutely no forward drive. It just rattling, and none of the gears were working.
So that's when I feel like, yeah, definitely gearbox related. At first I felt like drive shaft, then I went through the gears and felt the clutch. I'm like, yeah, that's not really a drive shaft.
Copy. Immediately when I left the pits, there was a little vibration, and then it just got worse, and yeah, as soon as I went on the straight, it broke.
And that is that. So yeah, we knew coming into it that the gearbox was over mileage, but we were like, okay, maybe we can get through the weekend. Now I'm just waiting. They've hooked up my car to the tow truck, and they're just gonna flat tow me back to the pits. So I'm just keeping my foot on the brake. Keeping my foot on the brake, so there's not... That didn't sound good. Not a lot of slack in the rope. You don't want slack and then it to rip the tow hook. So you're just trying to keep that tension on the hook. Not a very experienced tower or towee. See, look, there's a little slack. I'm like, no slack. Oh, pains me to see this. Still hit the apex. Used all the road. So now we're gonna get the car back on track. We're sending it. We're sending it back on track, and right from the get-go, this is literally the first lap of the second session. The team repaired the gearbox, and I mean, they did a really quick gearbox change. Mercedes, they have a support truck in the paddock, so they had a spare gearbox ready to go with nearly our exact settings on the differential and everything. So we were ready to go, and I mean, of course we missed the first test session, but I'm finally getting my first taste of what the balance of the car is like, and I'm honestly really liking it. It's definitely in the right direction. It's solved a lot of our issues with front graining. So you can just see how the front is actually carving quite well. For a track that typically has a lot of understeer through these low speed sections, you can see how sharp the front is. So the setup change we've made from New Orleans to here is definitely in the right direction. Actually, very sharp front. Track limits all the way to the green, so all you have to do is have one tire touching the green surface, and that's fair in turn 19. So I went in really deep, trying to get that squared off exit so I can undercut. And should have a clear lap here. We were fairly quick in practice, and that translated to the race. So the camera was having issues because it was so hot in Texas. So we got bits and pieces here and there, but the car felt really good in that first run. Came back into the pits to make a setup change, and we went back out. Immediately back into traffic, just I mean, we're catching cars left, right, and center. The car was performing really, really well through testing. So just overtaking the Audi, late on the brakes. We're braking around the 150 meter mark before the corner. Second gear. This is a really technical section, and it's like the handling section of the track where you really need a good mechanical balance. Traction's important and a sharp front to get the car rotated. Like here is one of the most difficult corners. If your car's not balanced well and you have a lot of understeer, it just does not turn. So it becomes pretty challenging. So I'm adjusting the radio. Wasn't happy with the volume, so off to the right is the radio. I'm on the radio now talking to my team. And I'm in a box now.
To be honest, it's hard to say. The balance is really good. Maybe off the brakes, fully off the brakes in the medium speed corner where I'm not turning a lot. The rear is quite loose, but if I have a lot of steering input and I'm braking with, braking and turning quite a bit, then it's just washing with understeer. So I would say on the brake release, when it's not in the ABS, the rear is actually quite snappy and maybe a little bit too free on the entry, but the front's working very well, very well.
So confirmed it. Front's working well. Little bit of understeer when I'm hard on the brakes into ABS.
A little bit on the first lap.
When it's diving.
We were touching on the center floor, so it's something to check on like the first laps. I tried going on the curb in turn 2 and we touched the floor, but after that it was okay, so not really any touching. I mean, yeah, the main comment for me is really just, I would say on the rotation phase of the corner, on the entry, it's maybe over-rotating a bit too much, especially with direction change. The rear is just not able to hold that load transfer back and forth. And when I quickly change direction, the front is very strong.
Just giving my feedback to my engineer and letting him know kind of what we've been working on from COTA or NOLA till now and what the balance is like. So I felt like the rear just didn't have the support and it could not keep up with the front. The front was very sharp,
but it's not so much the roll. I feel like it's almost happening immediately. Like the moment it's so pointy in the front that the rear is not really able to follow. So the front's going in the corner and the rear sometimes just
flat
is
slides.
sliding on its own right from the immediate start of the rotation.
Any guesses what we would change? Let me know down in the comments what you guys think you would change. And for the rest of the weekend, there was very limited footage of me running in testing. Of course, the camera, like I said, was so hot, it kept turning off. Yeah, I mean, here's some footage of us running from the roll bar cam and all the various cameras in the car. Hope you guys enjoy. The balance was unbelievable. Once we sorted out that sliding in the rear, we took it forward to the next day in practice, and I mean, the car was just on rails all weekend long. It was incredible to drive. I mean, one of the best race cars I've driven, I have to say. Especially at COTA, it was the best car by far. It handled so well through the tight and twisty bits. You guys can watch the live broadcast of the race on GT World, of course. And I also had an onboard camera from both races at Circuit of the Americas. If you want to check it out, I started race 2 and I finished race 1. So if you're interested in seeing how we did, you can check out the broadcast. Also watch the full onboard video. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed how we prepped. I know there wasn't a lot of prep because our preparation was cut short due to the gearbox, but huge shout out to the team, TR3 Racing, Mercedes-AMG for having the amazing trackside support and for getting us back on track and having it. I mean, for me, it was a great weekend in terms of performance. We made a huge step forward, and yeah, we'll keep pushing for the rest of the season.